5 practice mistakes that are holding you back. Have you ever finished a piano practice session and thought, what have I gained from that? What have I actually improved? That's not uncommon, and it's not down to the amount of time we spend practicing or the effort usually, but it's about how we practice, the way in which we practice. So today, I want to look at 5 habits that might be slowing you down in your practicing and, importantly, solutions to those. Here we go. Habit number 1 is always starting from the beginning. I went wrong in that particular bar. If I go from the beginning again, I'll probably make the same mistake because I've just done it. It's sort of into the memory a little bit already. So don't keep starting from the beginning. Start where the mistake happened slowly. Work on that exact section. And then, when that is secure, integrate it back into the rest of the piece. So, don't always start from the beginning. Start your practice where the problem is. Habit number 2 is repeating mistakes. I've seen pupils do this on many, many occasions where they're playing a piece of music and it goes wrong. So they have another go. And they have another go. And they just keep making the same mistake. What I've done there is just practice my mistake 3 times. And of course, what happens is they're thinking to themselves, I know I can do this. I did this correctly yesterday. I'm going to get this right. I'll just have another go. I'll have another go. And they start to get more and more frustrated with it. And within no time at all, it's so easy to have actually reinforced that mistake several times. So if you do make a mistake, immediately think how you're going to solve it. Focus on exactly where the mistake happened. Do your slow practice. Use the different tools you have to make sure it's secure. The third habit is practicing without a goal. It's so easy to just sit down at the piano and start playing through pieces. But that is not the most productive way to practice. Every time you practice, you should have a clear goal. What do I want to achieve today? Pick out a section of a piece that you are struggling with and make that your goal. I'm going to focus on bars 5 to 8, for example, and I'm going to practice it this way to make sure I get it accurate. It's really useful to keep a practice journal so you can record your goals and your reflections after your practice and keep a track of that. So practice with a clear goal. Habit number 4 is playing too fast too soon. This is a common one. If I'm playing a piece like this, I might start off with my slow practice. And I feel that's really under control, so I start to speed up. And it's beginning to become uneven. And it's because I've tried to speed that up too soon. You should aim to practice at the speed of no mistakes. I'm not saying mistakes won't happen, of course, they might occasionally, but practice slowly and only speed it up very, very gradually. And of course, if mistakes start to occur, slow it back down again. So don't try to practice too fast too soon. I think sometimes we're worried that we won't achieve the speed that we want to achieve. But my experience is, from my own playing and helping pupils, that that's not something you need to worry about. If you get everything really securely in place at a slow tempo, you will gradually be able to speed it up and it will work. So just trust the process with that one. And finally, the final habit is finishing our practice without reflecting. So we've spent an hour or whatever on practicing, and perhaps it's been a really productive practice time, but we then just put all our music away, close the lid of the piano and walk away. No, take a moment and reflect. What went well in my practice today, but perhaps more importantly, what do I still need to work on? what needs improving tomorrow in my practice session. And again, as I said earlier with practicing without a goal, this is where your practice journal can come in really handy, because you can make a little note. Bars 6 to 9 of my Mozart sonata still feels a little insecure. Or, bars 14, 16, some of the notes aren't memorised as thoroughly as I wish. So if you make a little note and reflect on your practicing, it then comes into your goal for your next practice session to make every single session as productive as possible. So, to bring all that together, instead of starting our practice at the beginning, solve the problems. Start where the problems are having and work on that. Instead of repeating mistakes over and over again, again, small sections, find exactly where the mistake is happening, focus on that and make sure you improve it. Think about how you can improve it. Instead of practicing without a goal, make sure you've got clear objectives. At the start of your practice, you know what you want to achieve. Instead of playing too fast, with errors potentially creeping in, focus on slow practice, but thoughtful practice. When you're practicing slowly, the brain has to be working very quickly because you have to really be concentrating and listening carefully. And finally, instead of finishing our practicing without taking any time to reflect, take a moment to pause and make a note of, yes, what went well. It's good to do that, but also the things you may want to focus on in your next practice session. The good news is all of those habits we've looked at today, and you may be able to relate to some of the bad habits, I know I can, but they don't need to be permanent. They're all habits that we can easily change and adapt in our practice. And no matter where we are in our piano practicing and our piano playing journey, we can all become more effective in our piano practice. Now, if you'd like some more tools to help you with that, I've recently launched my online effective piano practice course. I also have a free email group, so you can get a free piano practice tip in your email box every week. And later this month, I'll be holding an online piano practice clinic, which is a great opportunity for you to come to me with any questions you've got about piano practicing, and also learn from others as well. I'll put details of all of that in the description of this video. And thank you so much for watching. Do let me know your thoughts and leave some comments.